Hello and welcome to the 31 Flavor Journey Show. I am Ben Cason here with two very special guests, Joe and Renee Prutch. How you guys doing today?
We're doing great.
Good, Ben. How are you?
Great. Thank you guys so much for coming in. This podcast is brought to you by Baskin Robbins here in Pueblo, the two locations. Where are those locations at again?
Well, our first location is at 2704 South Prairie Avenue on the south side. And our second location is at 922 East Haley Lane, Unit A in Pueblo West.
There you go. And these two, of course, own those two franchises, as well as a lot of other things here in Pueblo. You guys wear a lot of different hats. So can we talk for a little bit about, like, what got you into owning Baskin Robbins, and what was that process like?
Joe has a different story than I have.
Oh, okay.
So
all right.
I'll start with my story, which
Sounds
is
good. Let's do it.
Rated G. So anyway.
Rated G. Okay.
Yeah. Well, anyway, so we had a commercial building on South Prairie that we rent out 5 units to, and the front unit became available. And we wanted to go ahead and just bring in some kind of business ourselves to fill that front unit. So our son, Tim, and I would come up with different ideas, and Joe would say no to everything we had. So one day, it was 3:00 in the morning. I woke Joe up, and I said, hey, how about a Baskin Robbins? And he just said, sure. I was like, wow.
At 3 a.m.
At 3 a.m., man, it just came to me. So that next morning, I got on the internet, did some research, found out how I can get a hold of corporate, in which happened to be Dunkin' Brands.
Okay.
So I did get a hold of them. It took a 2-year process to bring Baskin Robbins back to Pueblo. It was in Pueblo for 25 years. It had been gone for 16 years. And now we've had it back for 6 years.
Oh, that's awesome.
So the journey was long, but it was well worth it.
That's fantastic. 3 a.m. So can you tell me about your side of that story, Joe?
No, that is the story. It went 3 o'clock.
Well, what was going on in your head at 3 a.m.? She shakes you up, but she's like, Baskin Robbins.
Right.
It wasn't ice cream. Let's just put it that way. It wasn't ice cream. But it worked out well. Who doesn't like ice cream?
Absolutely. Who doesn't like ice cream? And like you mentioned, like Baskin Robbins has a bit of a rich history in Pueblo, right? I mean, can you guys tell me kind of about that and bringing it back, what the process has been like here in the community?
Yeah, it's been fantastic. So the history is that, when I was a little girl, I went to Baskin Robbins when it was here in Pueblo. So, and now here I am grown with my own kids and grandkids. And so that's what we heard a lot of stories. When people came back in, they were like, oh my gosh, my grandma or my mom, my dad, they used to bring us here to Baskin Robbins all the time. And now they are there with their kids.
Wow.
And so their favorite ice creams are still there. We have 40 different flavors in the dipping cabinets. And so those traditional ice creams, they remember. They're like, oh my gosh, Cherry's Jubilee, daiquiri ice, whatever it may be. They're telling their kids about their ice cream and the stories that they have.
So it's the same flavors from in the past that it brought back.
Yeah, but they actually do have like over 2,000 flavors. Baskin Robbins does. And every month they'll bring back a different flavor of the month. But and then certain regions have different flavors, certain countries have different flavors. So they do have a lot of different flavors, but they keep the same for a particular area.
That makes sense. That's so cool. So like you're saying that like each Baskin Robbins is specific to an area. It has different types of flavors then. Yeah. Well,
like Colorado and the United States, you're going to have the majority of the same. But say in Chicago, there may be 1 or 2 different ice creams there.
Gotcha.
Or California, maybe 1 or 2 different ice creams there, just for their region. For whatever flavor taste those guests may have.
Sure.
But you're going to have the majority of them. And you will see, because they do have them all over Kuwait, different places.
Oh, wow.
And so their diets and their food requirements or religions, whatever it may be, does require different types of ice creams. So Baskin Robbins does supply that.
Gotcha. Well, that's awesome. So, Renee, I know you were telling me whenever we were talking before that you also worked there, correct?
I did. I worked there when I was in high school. I worked there for 2 years, and I was 16 years old. And actually, I was dating Joe at the time.
Wow.
I was 15 when I met him, and he was 18. He was a little older.
But the good thing about her working there was I got the fringe benefits of getting ice cream.
Hey, there you go.
Back then. So
yeah, and he used to come in quite a bit. I was like, hey, what are you doing?
Be like, great to see you.
Yeah.
Scoop up some ice cream.
Yeah. So what is great to this day, he knows a couple of my favorite ice creams that I used to eat even back then.
Mm-hmm.
And if, for whatever reason, Joe will bring me some of that ice cream home, and it's great.
That's cool.
We love it. Yeah.
So was there like any nostalgia between the two of you then whenever you actually got it opened up and you were working there, like just, getting things all set up and you were like, I've come a long way since, that back then. What was that like? What was going through your heads?
Well, it was still not real. It was still a shock to us in the sense that here we are pushing ice cream now versus we also own a garage door company and here in Pueblo for the last 38 years. And so it's a little bit different from garage doors to ice cream.
Sure.
So when you're in a 31 Baskin Robbins and surrounded by ice cream, it's a good feeling. I mean, it's totally different feeling, but it's definitely a different.
It's a different business,
Yeah.
and I still to this day, I tell Joe all the time how blessed we are. I cannot believe, we do have 2 Baskin Robbins franchises.
Yeah.
So it's a blessing. We're very, very grateful for it. We don't take it for granted. We're so thankful for all of our guests, all of our employees. We have employees that have been with us 5+ years. So they start when they are 16 and they work through high school, they go to college, they come back for the summers, the breaks, and we put them to work. So we have good relationships with all of them, but yeah, it's a blessing. And I still like to this day saying, wow, we own 2 Baskin Robbins. And so it's very special.
Well, let's talk about that. So like, I know whenever we were talking to you, whenever you were joining on with Wake Up, you talked a lot about how much it means to you, like the different people that work with you and, what the community is like within Baskin Robbins as well as without the people that, have a connection with it. What do you guys feel about like the Pueblo community as a place for Baskin Robbins?
It's overwhelming. It really is. We get phone calls all the time from friends, families, praising us for having ice cream and also cursing us for having Baskin Robbins because of their waistline, or their wife has sent them, or their kids send them to Baskin Robbins 2 or 3 times a week. So we get them kind of phone calls, but it's pretty cool. It's really neat to get them kind of calls because it goes back a long ways.
Yeah. Hey, I remember this. It's funny. I mean, talking about like Baskin Robbins opened up like 6 years ago, correct? The first one?
Correct.
Yeah, I actually remembered that because I was in Rye with my family and my parents have a connection with Baskin Robbins. They grew up in Florida. They had it there. They loved it. So it opened up. I remember we waited in a line for, I can't remember how long we waited, but the ice cream was fantastic. But I can distinctly remember that. I was like 13, 14.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
Just connection.
The reception when we first opened was phenomenal. We never dreamed of it, but yes, we had lines all the way out the door.
Wow.
Our drive-through backed up onto Prairie, and then we would actually wrap it around the building. That went on for like 4 weeks straight. And so again, every day, and Joe would be in there helping us making waffle cones. I would be help scooping, cleaning the store, talking to the guests, exhausted at the end of the day, but we were like, oh my goodness. So it was so missed by the community. And, again, for us to be in that position to bring it back, it is just phenomenal. And we just, like I said, it's like, how were we chosen? And we're grateful we were chosen to be able to do that. Because people love Baskin Robbins.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, absolutely. I think a word that I would use like with ice cream and Baskin Robbins in general, like that I've heard in the past is joy. Especially with like younger kids, like whenever they try it, like can you take me through, like say you guys are there behind the desk and you have a 5-year-old come up and like ask for ice cream and have a taste and you can see that joy on their face. What goes through you guys' minds in that moment?
Man, it brings you back. It's such a delight to see that joy on their face, and you can share that joy with them also, is because you've been there, you've done it, you have been in their shoes.
Yeah, that's still there.
Yeah, it's still there. And it's like, oh, wow, I was there. I did that. And that's a joy. That's really neat.
Yeah, I'd like to share a story.
Yeah.
Our son, Tim, coached the flag football team this summer, his oldest son's team. And at the end of the season, Timmy asked, can we have a little party in the party room at Baskin Robbins? And I said, absolutely. So that we brought some pizza in, and then we let all the kids go through the line and order whatever they wanted. And there was the smallest, littlest guy that ordered a waffle cone with 3 scoops of ice cream. This cone probably weighed more than he did. And he was so excited. And you could just see his parents, like, they would never let him order that, if they were bringing him to Baskin Robbins. But because he had wide open, order whatever you want.
Yeah.
He was so excited. So I asked our grandson, Eli, I said, hey, did he finish his ice cream? He goes, no, Grandma Nay, but he tried really hard.
Tried really hard.
Yeah.
I love that. So, yeah, I mean, like you talked about, you have, how many grandkids do you guys have?
We have 3 boys, 3 grandsons.
Wow. So like, what do they think about, hey, my grandparents own an ice cream shop? I feel like that would be amazing. What do they think?
Oh, our oldest, Eli, we have a 2-year-old and then a 3-month-old. So they don't quite know yet. Yeah. But Eli is so proud at his school. He talks about Grandma and Grandpa's ice cream store, Baskin Robbins, all the time to his friends. And again, we'll bring in like polar pizzas to his classroom for birthday parties or end of the year school parties, whatever there would be. And Eli is just like, is proud, big old feathers standing up on him like, yeah, my grandma and grandpa own this. Yeah. Yeah. So he's pretty proud.
That's amazing. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, even like talking to you guys here, you could tell how passionate you guys are for Pueblo and like the community. How long have you both been in Pueblo for?
All our lives. We've all of our lives, we're born and raised here. And high school sweethearts and been married 39 years. And
congrats.
Yep. So we've been here all of our lives. So yes, being a part of the community means a lot to us. It means a lot to us, and it means a lot to us to provide jobs, first-time jobs to these kids that have never had a job before, and it's perfect. It's right up their alley to start at a Baskin Robbins, and it's gratifying.
Okay.
Yeah. We have currently right now over 55 employees.
Wow.
Yeah. And the reason for that is we work with their school schedules. We work with their sports schedules, their volunteer schedules. And like I stress to all of them, I'm so proud of them to be able to balance all that in their lives. And a lot of these kids take advanced courses and whatever they could do. A lot of them are doing college courses along with their high school courses. And so there may be some weeks they only work 3 hours for that week. And I accommodate that because I believe they deserve that. They deserve that opportunity to balance all of that. And so when they're out of their sport or whenever their schedule frees up, then they really open up their schedule and it's their turn to do some weekends, do some nights, do some closings and stuff like that. So, and that's been a really blessing. And that is probably one of the biggest compliments we get back from all of the employees is that they do love the flexibility of their schedule and us allowing them to do that.
Wow. And, speaking specifically from my experience, like, I've worked at jobs where that definitely was not a mindset that the owners have. So, like, where do you think that focus came from for both of you?
I think being raised that way for both of us, both of our parents were business owners in one capacity or another.
Interesting.
And, and it kind of rubbed off on both of us. I feel that's where it originated from, and it's worked out well.
That's fantastic, you guys. Sweet. Well, I got to ask, what is your favorite flavor? What's your go-to out of the, 40 plus?
Well, mine right now is peanut butter and chocolate.
Okay.
And Jamocha almond fudge.
And mine's pralines and cream or any kind of cheesecake.
Strawberry cheesecake.
Strawberry cheesecake. Baseball nut. But pralines and cream's my go-to.
That's fantastic, you guys. So with obviously the Christmas season coming up and everything going on with that, is there anything special that Baskin Robbins is doing with, everything going on? Any stuff there that we need to know about?
Well, we have cake decorators for both of our stores.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and they make the cakes, custom make them. They do a beautiful job on decorating these cakes. And we have a photo printer, so we can also put on different photos on the cakes. But again, with these cakes, you can pick any ice cream you want. And then we have the white cake or the chocolate cake. So you have your choice of your 2 cakes. And we also have a brownie that they can do. But those are really big sellers. And with Christmas coming up, we have some beautiful Christmas cakes that they can order.
Cool.
At Thanksgiving, we had a turkey cake that looked like a turkey, and we actually sold a lot of those.
Wow.
So they're just fun. It's like a fun addition to your holiday gatherings that you have. And I don't, with people not being able to go to different places this year, I think that would add some joy to their table, is to get a custom Baskin-Robbins cake.
That's awesome. And how do they go about getting one of those?
Well, they can either order it online or they can call the store and order it over the phone. Unfortunately, right now the lobbies are closed.
Yeah.
But the best would probably be either call it in or go online. But we do need a 24-hour notice to make these cakes.
Sure. Yeah. Those cakes, obviously, as a kid, the ice cream cake was always the number one you got to go for, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's amazing. I love it.
Again, it's a tradition. I remember birthdays and anniversaries and stuff. Joe would drive up to Colorado Springs when Baskin-Robbins wasn't here and get me my Jamocha almond fudge cake.
Really?
Yeah, he would do that all the time. Yep.
Then we also have, don't we have the buy a $25 gift card?
Yeah, right now for the holidays, if you buy a $25 gift card, you get a free scoop of ice cream.
Wow. So just if you need a gift for somebody, you can get a benefit yourself.
Yep. So gift cards, absolutely. Gift cards are a great gift for Christmas. And then, you know what? They're not going to know you had that free scoop of ice cream.
Nobody's going to know.
Right. It's our secret.
Well, that's amazing, you guys. Thank you guys so much for coming in and talking to me about this stuff.
Oh, you're welcome. We
Thanks
appreciate
for having
it.
us.
Yes, Ben. Thank you.
Yeah, I think it's just so amazing, like speaking from my side, to have 2 owners like you guys that are so Pueblo passionate people that, take a chain like this that was here, bring it back because it's a part of the community and reconnect those people. I think it's great to see. And I really appreciate it.
Well, thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, man.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We appreciate it.
Absolutely. So this has been the 31 Flavor Journey Show, episode 1. We've got episode 2 coming out next month. So we'll figure out, we'll probably get the managers in here or something like that. Or we'll figure something out. It'll be amazing.
How
I can't
about
wait.
the grandkids?
Great. I love that. Let's do it. I'm all about it. Next time, y'all got to bring some ice cream in here.
Yeah, definitely. We need it.
You guys making me hungry over here talking about this. Oh, man. Hey, thank you so much for coming on, and thank you so much for listening. Have a great rest of your day. Be sure to check out the rest of 31 Flavor Journey Show, as well as our sister show over there for PJ's Coffee. Check that out in the description. Thank you.